Charles Stephen Reeves, the Cromwellian descendant who embraced his Irish identity and became Dunedin's leading citizen during a long and successful career in Otago. Charles Stephen Reeves was born at Enniscorthy here in the county of Wexford in 1835. His father, also called Charles Stephen Reeves, was a merchant operating out of premises here in the town of Wexford. They're thought to have descended from an officer in the English army of Oliver Cromwell, who stayed on in Ireland after the infamous sacking of Wexford in 1649 and took up land in County Clare. The family subsequently became Quakers and were part of a tight-knit Quaker community centred around Woodhouse in County Tipperary, where Charles Sr. was born in 1805. By the 1830s, he was a merchant and ship owner with interests here in Wexford as well as in Liverpool. Charles and his numerous brothers were all educated in Anglican grammar schools in England. Then after school, Charles and his older brother Richard, who would later be appointed Speaker of the New Zealand Legislative Council, both joined their father in his shipping business at its office in Liverpool. All three of them emigrated to Australia in the 1850s, following diverse businesses in Tasmania, New South Wales and Victoria. Other members of the family also came to the colonies. Charles Jr. had a successful period gold mining in Victoria before setting up as an accountant and commission agent in Ballarat. He spent 2 years back in Ireland and then returned to Geelong, where he married Mary Charlotte Glendinning, also from Wexford we think, in 1861. They were to have 5 children together. In June 1863, the family crossed over to Dunedin on the Hydra. They spent the rest of their lives in the city, save for an extended tour of the old country in 1887. Charles established a cordial and soda water manufacturing plant with 2 of his brothers before selling out to Lanes in 1875. He then established a financial business here in Bond Street, adding stockbroking, accountancy and valuation to the commission agency role. By the 1870s, Charles was a prominent player in Dunedin's social and economic life, and this led to his becoming a public figure. He was elected to the City Council in 1873 and the Otago Provincial Council in 1874. He became Mayor of Dunedin for 1876-77. He was also a member of the Otago Harbour Board, the Land Board, a trustee of the Dunedin Hospital, and one of the first members of the Institute of Accountants. He had been involved with the volunteer movement while he lived in Australia, and he joined the Dunedin Artillery as soon as he arrived in the city. He was subsequently a member of the North Dunedin Rifles and was the company's captain for 9 years. In 1885, he was promoted to Major of the 1st Battalion of the Otago Volunteers, and when he retired from military affairs in 1890, he had the impressive rank of Lieutenant Colonel. One of the most interesting aspects of Charles and Richard Reeves' political careers in New Zealand is their stand on Irish issues. Both were strong supporters of Irish Home Rule, and Charles even courted controversy in Dunedin in 1868 when he initiated a subscription plan to provide support for the families of Irish political prisoners in England, the so-called Fenians. Both men were always to the fore when Irish causes were in the public eye. The Otago Daily Times even attributed Charles's win in the mayoral election in 1876 to his securing the Catholic vote, while his opponent had the support of the city's Orange men. That seems a peculiar turn of events for a descendant of one of Oliver Cromwell's lieutenants, but it's a good reminder that Irish Protestants could be just as patriotic about their birthplace as their Catholic countrymen. Charles Reeves died in Dunedin in 1912, aged 76.